it's Andre. It's time for another Friday flying update with fantastic 3D printing, a glider, and of course flight test planes. What else could you want? So that's right, Martin popped in earlier this week delivering some crazy 3D printed stuff. This is the tracker kit that was sent, the plan sent to me by Marco. And I mean, look at this stuff. Something like this, because of the density and the resolution required, takes close to 16 hours to print. But it is phenomenal. And like the details. So this is the front panel with the Arduino display, control display, and it's got little mounts and everything for the boards, and all the equipment goes in here, and this will be the turret, and then the uprights that sit on top of that with more servos for, and then that controls the it is just phenomenal. Actually, Marco and I spent about an hour online video chatting and discussing the build-up and the components I need to make the tracker work. So it is going to take me a bit of time to really grasp the technical aspects of it and start building away at it. But I'm looking forward to it, and this should be a lot of fun for later in the summer when the FPV stuff is going full hog and we're just hammering away and having a good time with it. But like I said, I can't wait. I'm just the challenge and just the some of the logic behind it are just a new level for me. So really looking forward. So stay tuned as this project develops. I'll probably do something simple, like once I start attaching it, sand some of the stuff down lightly, apply some paint, because PLA eventually over time will basically dissolve. It is biodegradable essentially. So not a lot of things came in the mail. Well, there were some orders that finally came in. Most of it was last week. One of the goodies that finally showed up was from Hobby King, and the Quantum Elite little combo. Look at that! Isn't that awesome? So a little 1S, 40 channels, so full race band, 25 milliwatts, nice wide lens view actually, and it's impressive. And I'm looking forward to sticking this thing on a bunch of stuff, things like the 2S Aero and the FliteTest Scout. And even some of my UMXs. Actually, I wonder how it would go on the little UMX Radians. So look forward to a full review of that little guy. I mean, look at guy strapped it on top of my cat's head or something like that. I don't know, but really nice view. Really happy with it. So, and speaking of 3D, over the weekend, if you looked at the FT Aero flying between the posts video, you'll notice the Mobius was having a challenge again with the snow. That problem should be gone now. But one of the things Martin and I discussed last time he was over was making some kind of shade. And look at that. Look at 3D printed. It's basically just a little, I have to go in there with the sand with my files and get the lip just right so it slides over top. And then I'm just going to, glue a piece of sunglasses over top of that. Very similar to what I did before, but a whole lot better looking. And that should be really neat. I may spray paint it black to minimize light getting through or whatever, but it should help the Mobius along. Speaking of that Aero video, it was actually a fairly interesting flight. I just wanted to throw the plane up there and get going, and then I started looking at the posts and like, okay, let's do this. And I was flying on the Zippy Compact's 25C, the 1000 milliwatts, and there wasn't a lot of punch compared to the Nanotechs, and then you throw this on top of it versus the wing cap. Woo! And at one point, I'm trying to adjust the contrast on my Fat Shark goggles to deal with the white and the snow and everything, because I can barely see the posts as I'm charging at them. And the Fat Shark said they locked in, and I couldn't change any of my settings, so it was fairly bright, but it was still a really good flight, and I had a lot of fun with that airplane. So I'm looking forward to continuously doing more and more and more. In fact, I got an email from a follower on Twitter saying, the section between the uprights and the main goal, there's that by 7 feet, he says, try flying through that. So I'm like, game on. So hopefully this weekend I won't kill the poor 3S. Actually, Thursday night we had dinner with my parents, and I brought the 2S FT Aero with me, and my dad took the sticks for the first time and started flying it and really enjoyed with it. So I'm going to set him up with some leftover components, and my other buddy Mike is also going to build one up as well, so we're discussing batteries and everything. So they've gone and ordered some ESCs and motors, but for the time being I'm going to supply them with all kinds of parts they need just to get them going, because there's no way that no one should be not flying this airplane. It's perfect for small parks and everything, and honest to God, Josh Bixler hit a home run with it. So, phenomenal. While I was at my dad's place, because I know you're looking at this thing going, oh no, Andre's got himself another beat-up FliteTest plane. But yeah, I picked this up for him last year at FliteTest, and this was his gift his birthday gift in August. Well, it has gone through a full winter, and as you can see, it is a little worse for wear. But he's like, oh yeah, I built another one. You know, I had passed him the plans, and he built up a brand new one. I'm looking at this thing going, you know, maybe another 20-30 minutes of work, and I'll patch up some of the damage. And you can see what a Canadian winter does to the Atlas foam. It's pretty hard and pretty, you know, but I'm like, you know what? I got a power pod sitting here in the Scout that's not doing anything. Throw a receiver into it, a little bit of work, and I got something I can fly until I have a chance to build the Explorer and the FT Racer. So I'm like, game on, let's do it, you know. So looking forward to that, because he and I haven't flown, you know, this scale of plane side by side. We really enjoyed it when I had the FT Racer, but unfortunately that plane just expired and needed to be redone. Full disclosure, I think the pilot, me, was a little too tired. It had been a long weekend, and I didn't fly very well, and I don't think it was a glider's fault. I think just my setup was a little off. Because I was flying with a Zippy Compact, and it felt tail heavy, and so I think I'm going to work on the trim, because when I put on power, I think the EDF might have been dialing the nose down. So I'm going to do a little compensation work, go back through it, check the CG and everything. I am going to add some extra black or something on the underneath, because it was at points I was like, I don't know if I'm upside down, and I think I rolled a few times. So I'm going to keep working on it, because I've seen some excellent examples from some of the other people who've gotten the early releases to test, and I'm really looking forward to flying it a lot more. So I might try with a more robust pack as well. I think the 25C was a little weak for the EDF, just to get the power up quickly and cleanly, and I do things I would dial it back, and it's just seeing what the thresholds are. So really looking forward to it. I did manage to fit this in the car with the wing fully attached, so I guess that's a nice thing about the fuselage being sub 40 inches, because I can get it right to the back of the seat, and with the seat folded down, this wing goes in, and this wing occupies the whole trunk area, which is pretty nice for a glider. So again, if I travel with it, I'll pull the tape and pull the EDF off and take out the screw and pull the wings and everything. So, but in the meantime, I don't have to really take this apart, and it is a pretty light plane, so I'm thinking eventually I'm going to be able to take it and just find a spot on my ceiling and, you know, attach it upside down somewhere. So there you go. I'm looking forward to just being able to glide with it and have a good summer with it. And of course, when I go down to Ohio, we'll do the tow thing with the FliteTest After Hour crew. So speaking of the After Hour crews, we're going to be getting together this weekend, we think, to do a couple components for the podcast. The boys and I are actually starting to get really busy with summer, and I know Mike and Chris are busy dealing with kids baseball. I've got my son's Cubs commitments and everything, so we're going to be busy dads, but we're still going to make sure we get together flying and everything. And also, remember, July, Ohio, if you are available and you're coming down and you are interested in volunteering, by all means, you can drop me a note, Andre at FliteTest.com, and I can talk you through some of the requirements or some of the positions, or you can go online and at FliteTest.com, and there is a volunteer section which you can sign in and set up. So we're really looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Myself, I am the volunteer coordinator, so I will be running around having a good time. But you can darn bet that the FliteTest After Hours crew will be gliding and having fun. And we'll probably do a podcast while we're down there and just talking up a storm, as usual. So there you go. The weather is finally looking fantastic in Ontario. Fingers crossed that thing called winter is done, and the fields are awesome, and all the flying is great. So if you get out this weekend, have a great time. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.